It's only clickbaity in the sense that I can't tell you how you're going to feel about anything in reality, but what I am about to say doesn't sit well um, with a whole lot of different people. Um, so I've been thinking in terms. Uh, everybody hates what they call the QAnon rationale of things. The 5D retarded obligatory chess square head fucking joke, right? That meme on the internet where the guy's got the dilapidated head, right? 5D chess, MAGA 5D chess, right? Um, I'm just saying that there are things that are going to be true with, like, things get picked up on. You know what? I can make the left here. Because of the truth in it. The Bible wouldn't be effective if it wasn't paltered. Paltering, I've talked about this a lot. Paltering is an important part of understanding the reality of certain things in the world of dark sorcery, of lies, of how scripture is constructed, because you're having a hard time understanding the difference between the truth in scripture and the fact that there's too many lies in scripture for you to reference that scripture as the truth. Correct? You know, because people can read QAnon posts the way you're reading the book of fucking Proverbs, right? And so you can tell that there's all these angles of effectively the neuro-linguistic programming built in to the system, baked into the cake, which also, that's just a structure for the content, though, right? It's a delivery system. That's what that is. And that's fine. You have a delivery system. Congratulations. Now, that's the delivery system may in and of itself be poison. So you want to be able to transcend it and ask yourself, now that I can see it from the outside, do I want to make it my utility, or do I want to be fucking exploited by it? Which would have been the case if I had not stepped outside anyway. Because you can always be exploited to that which you are ignorant of, even universal principles, because somebody with other paltering techniques can show up telling you the same truths as I am, and then lie about one subtle critical thing. Right? And I'm talking about things that matter, not things of preference. Right? There's so much fucking preference. I can act a little bit elitist about a handful of things because I got the metalhead elitism fucking attitude going on in so many respects, and just like realizing that the way I do my thing, and I don't even talk about, I'm not even talking about the aesthetics, I'm just talking about the deep inner work. Just like, your inner work's not my inner work. I gotta fucking chill out about that. Because back in the day, I didn't realize there was such a fucking difference. Right? Oh man, like, there's a way that, like, to preserve your empathy through this process is fucking difficult, because in the process, you explore the parts of you that are fucked up. You'll like there are times where I can't handle sticking to one side forever, because I don't like what happens to people that stick with one side. And I'm not even trying to be a part of politics, but politics is always going to be a part of everything, and I do want to be a part of solving problems that are going to be involved with fucking politics, because whether I like it or not, I have to fucking deal with the profane in what I consider in the manner in which I do things and say things. And all of the study, patience, back planning, establishments of trust that one must go through over a very long period of time to get to the point where you think you know something and you think you know how to fucking fix it. Because I promise you, some of the fucking things happening in the world right now, like, I don't know why they happened, but things in politics worked out in my favor by people that I dislike tremendously. So, that's a part of these realities. Is that there is something working transcendent against you and something working transcendent for you. And they manifest in the informed field in these ways. And then you see it ultimately happen in the places where you've been told that you don't have any power. When I promise you that I somehow have been a heavy influence on very good things that have happened out of government. Okay? All of this coming from a mindset that would say I'd rather there not be government. And always endorsing the way to live as if there is no government. And at the same time, I do not want the spirit of the nation of America, of these United States, or for your nation in its natural state to fucking flounder as such. But also, you have to fucking realize when certain things in the terrible condition of man's unconscious, that the ugly's gotta happen. The mayhem, the suffering, like the worst things, right? Like, everybody that got their fucking stupid, typical, programmed trigger reaction to the "oh my god, it happened, we have preemptively struck Iran. This is it. This is the end of it all. America is finished." And I'm just like, we've only been bombing them for 24 hours and you've determined that America's finished. You know, it's like, you know, Dewey wins on the newspaper, right? It's all the polls say that Hillary Clinton was supposed to win in 2016. And everybody had a reason to agree with that consensus really fucking fast. Meaning that everybody is decided on who their trusted sources are. They've made up their minds at this point. These are going to be the foxholes that they are dug in on and will die on these hills. Okay? Which goes the same for the IRGC, right? And all of this is perpetrated on whether you believe that it is a lie when the President of the United States says, we've beaten them, they're just so crazy they don't want to surrender, so we're just going to keep pounding their resistance until they surrender, right? And we don't like it. It makes us sick to our stomach because, oh my God, we're the evil Western Empire. Why can't we have the benevolent communist Eastern Empire run things? Except for Russia, they're the only communists that were ever evil. That's because they abandoned communism for whatever this is now. But it's because they're still secretly the Soviet Union. You see, it's like, are communists good or fucking bad? Make up your goddamn mind. That the cognitive dissonance that was created by the Russia narrative during, 2017 forward has been, just like fuck Trump derangement syndrome. That is so transcendent of TDS. That is way transcendent, right? You have to understand the level of ontological fucking psychosis This is global Wetiko causing this fucking war. So, you know, there's nothing to endorse. This thing's a fucking hurricane. Okay? You can't fucking just end the hurricane. You don't have that level of harp in your fucking psychic field. But you can fucking steer it, you can fucking tire it out, you can fucking hold it in place or whatever, you can fuel it, you can starve it, but you can't just do it on a dime. You have to feed the atmospheric pressure conditions, all right? You are dealing, like, this is why storm gods were war gods. And the fucking irony that the storm also brings the fertility. So they were fertility and war gods, such as El, Yahweh. So storm god is a fertility god, is also a war god, right? It's all the same fucking thing. Ymir, the first Jotun, was a war dragon. The screamer, the cries of warfare, right? You are birthed out of the screams, right? From the exertion, right? It's basically, it's the primordial energy that Odin taps into to be the frenzy. He taps into Ymir, which is why his tripartite soul had to work in absolute synchronicity to triangulate his destruction without destroying himself. As I understand the plot of, I don't know if it's Children of Dune or God Emperor. I think it's God Emperor, because I don't know. I'm doubting that Leto II becomes the worm in Children of Dune. It's probably gonna be about him getting wormy, and then he becomes the worm by then. Long story short, so I don't know when it's popping up in the series that I am reading, but I did hear on social media discourse about it is that Leto saw that man had such an abysmal manner about him that he said the only way that he could save it for good men of the earth was to be the villain, so the worst of the earth would follow him and then lead them to their own destruction by those that will not listen to reason on the other side, is the juxt of it. And I think for all the jokes of God Emperor Trump, I think that might be because people pick up on that from the trolling, and there's a continuity to be followed from 2015 forward, and everything informed before that, as there was no where it was there's very little censorship going on. Very little censorship. It was a lot at the time, but it was all undiscussed. If it was there, it was always blanketed as something else. It wasn't overt, and everybody was convinced that it wasn't censorship, but it was all there. And then because everybody was affected by anybody who looked at candidate Trump with various assumptions, and the peculiarity that as a conspiracy theorist is that he was saying things that conspiracy theorists agreed with, like Alex Jones and such, and we had a different idea of Alex Jones for those of us who didn't fucking get tripped up on the Sandy Hook of it all. So Don has to work triple time to convince me that he is my enemy, is the idea. This may be what he prays about it. It's like, God, tell Steve I'm sorry. This is the only way to get what he wants, and he was right? That would be my little inner narcissist, right? Saying like, oh, that's what Trump says when he goes to bed at night. He thinks of me because I'm the smartest motherfucker in podcasting, right? All I'm saying is that it's a role to be played in that manner, because tell me something. What does it really look like, right? We have a small, very upset group of radical leftists in this country that they get very, very, very little encouragement and have been cut off before they had too much power and have been subseding, and none of them are being mistreated by anybody but themselves. They are mistreating each other, they are mistreating themselves, and we're trying to tell them, listen, that's a really painful way to handle all of this. And now we've also been having to tell them, listen, this is also a very painful way to handle the losses that you just experienced over this period of time. Right? We don't have an interest in being this police state, and many of us have been saying the right things and being effective beyond all the goddamn fucking sadistic trolling from the right that kept going and went overboard with Charlie Kirk, of course, as it was designed to. I think people understand this upsetting terms that I am expressing to you about the issue. Because everything is forcing hands, I see, right? My experience of the government here is completely different than other people's experiences of the government, right? Right down to the gas prices, right? You know, national average versus the insanity of how California taxes, right? California gas taxes are psychotic because because I believe they're still independently paying for carbon tax just because it's their religion, right? So they're paying a tithe to the carbon god. And so they're suffering that, right? That's the only reason why that's going on. And I'll put it to you this way. Maybe I feel like I don't deserve cheap gas myself. Not because Israel is under threat, but because Iran threatens its own people every single day in a way that I find abhorrent and apprehensible. Nothing I'm going to pick up arms and go fight about because I could be fucking wrong. But let's just say for all the people that believe that shit, that it's real and they're hitting as few innocent targets as one can fucking ask for. Especially because you can hit a building that's been repurposed. We vote in schools, right? If a shooting happens at a voting poll, it doesn't mean a teacher and children are dead. Unless there were teachers and children, because parents were voting and they brought their kids and they happened to also be teachers. This kind of thing. Anyway, I need to get going because I gotta find out where I'm going once I hit my exit. All right. So anyway, that's my point about the Trump theory is that you've got to be looking at forces on a different level, because they're nameless forces, because it's something within the hearts of men that changes the calculation. All right, I'll catch you guys later.